The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it all goes now, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Happy Tuesday to those in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can, and if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. A special shout out to all our channel members and also to our moderators. I hope everyone had a wonderful and restful Easter long weekend and have started and having a productive week so far. Tonight's topic is Andrew Will Resign with your host Mystic Sensation, which is Baron and Anne-Marie, and also Melting Pot, and we should be joined shortly by Mr. Rattigan. The chat is already gone out of control, so I'm just gonna say an umbrella welcome to everyone, and thank you so much as usual for joining in. Really appreciate the continued support. Without any delay, I am going to hand over to Baron.
All right, thank you for that, Lady Mystic. Right, and once again, let me say an umbrella welcome, right, to all my Energizer Bunny, right, people, home and abroad, right, and of course we have our panelist, Melting Pot, and Brother Rattigan will sign in any minute. Now, tonight we'll be talking about Andrew resignation, because we know that that is a must, right? Based on certain information that we are going to present. All right. Before I get into these subjects, let me just have Melting Pot to meet and greet as usual. Melting Pot.
Thank you, Sir Lord Byron. Pleasant greetings to everyone tonight, you know. Yeah, man. Enough love and respect. Yeah, blessings as well. Yeah. Hope you all had a very enjoyable Easter weekend and looking forward to the new week ahead of you. You know, I just want to always bless up my people inside the chat room. You know, we have some very ardent supporters who are always here on time. You know, bless you all. Yeah, bless up to my people in a ground zero as usual. Enough love and respect. And to all the 2 Mile Heights, you know, blessing as usual from Melting Pot. Yeah. And I would like to also acknowledge the host, Sir Lord Byron, as usual, the man who put together this program using, you know, all of his time and effort to get things in the right order so that we can have an enjoyable show when we come to present it. Enough love and respect, same way to the technical director, Lady Anne Marie with the gold finger. You know, as she touch and do the thing behind the scene and make the thing look pretty on the screen. So enough love and blessing. All right, Sir Lord Byron, back to you, the host.
All right. Blessings, Melting Pot. Really appreciate that. You know, before I start, I want to set a background, right? Because several things that we are going to address tonight. And let me begin in terms of, you know, I'm not throwing any stone, but I'm going to speak it as it is. Now, we have some platforms, right, that sending a third-party narrative. And that's okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm asking for persons who are speaking, right, on a third-party basis, that they need to gather their facts, need to have their evidence. And when you are speaking to the people would like to see the evidence in which, right, you present, just like what we are going to do tonight. Let me say, for persons who want to say that the People's National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party, one of a kind, we are going to dismiss that tonight, and we are going to dismiss it with evidence, not just verbalizing it. We are going to show evidence. You will have also some people speaking that the PNP in the 90s, right, and they're speaking of corruption in the 90s. But let me say to those people that propaganda is not fact. Rumors are not facts. And whether you want to speak those situations, the people who you are speaking with, they need to see evidence. And if you don't have the evidence, then keep your clappers shut. Now, let us move on, since we settled that. And this is one of the reasons why we're coming out and make sure we do our research, and we are going to straighten up some narrative that's been spilling out there. So tonight, we are going to reveal evidence. Now, let me speak about leadership as it relates to none other than Mark Jefferson Golding. Mark Jefferson Golding is an awesome leader, an excellent leader, and a leader that leads with example. He's not someone who speaks that he's going to futuristically and don't accomplish what he had said. Mark Jefferson Golding, right, is an extremely successful business person, and he has given his time into politics, right, awesomely. I am happy to say that the comrade leader is the leader that had worked on most legislations in the parliament. I am happy also to say that there is no other leader has worked on the amount of legislations like Mark Golding. There is simply none to compare. Let me say it to all again, the third party pundits, right? And some of those who speak, they came from strong Jamaica Labour Party foundation, and they now upset, embarrass, and confuse as it relates to the level of criminality that the Jamaica Labour Party coming out with. Don't you mix up PNP with the Jamaica Labour Party, and we are free and happy to say that. We are going to show you, for example, leadership, right? Examples, right? Leadership with quality. And when we talk about leadership, we're talking about checks and balance, accountability, and finally, what we speak about, honey, we speak about transparency. And that is the beauty with the People's National Party.
Dress up, Bolo.
Am I saying, big up yourself, Bolo, right? Bolo, right? Anessa Belrose, hat off for the press, talk your mind, the whole works. Big up on yourself, right? These are people out there working very hard and very diligent. Now, having said that, let me say this. I am proud to be Manlyites. And when we talk about leadership, this is what we are going to present tonight. We don't speak out of our mouth loosely. We speak with facts. Bring forth the facts so that the people can see, the people can read. Now, let me show you in terms of why I'm so proud of Mark Golding. Right? And remember, good leadership result in prosperity. The Bible will tell you in terms of a prudent leader. That leader will always make right decisions to benefit the people. Now, I have seen that the Jamaica Labour Party vloggers getting active with a recent development as it relates to a situation with a former member of the People's National Party as it relates to an incest case. We want to discuss that. And they have it dragged all over social media. But I am going to show you something as it relates to leadership. That Mark Golding is one such person that will never, ever condone wrongdoing. Will never, ever condone corruption. And Mark Golding is going to be the first person to discipline you. Mark Golding is not going to take talk from the Jamaica Labour Party. Mark Golding discipline, right, is what he, as it relates to his leadership skills, look on a situation, utilize his best judgment, and make a decision. This is Mark Jefferson Golding. And so then, let me show you what is happening, and let me show you leadership style and quality as it relates to Mark Golding, right? Discipline is on. When it comes to one's breach, Mark Golding is going to discipline you. Am I saying let me put some clarification out there. Am I saying that the People's National Party has never done any corruption? You who follow me and you who know me, knowing that no, that is not what Mystic Sensation is saying. Right? Every institution that you can think of on the globe, someone inside that institution going contrary to policy, rules, and regulation at times. Human nature. They are in the PNP, they are in the GLP. But what makes the difference is the leadership. And so when the leadership can acknowledge that there's a wrong done, and not only acknowledge that there's a wrong done, the leadership is going to make the necessary discipline in moving forward. That is what Mark Golding has. Now let us show, right, the first document as it relates to the Jamaica Star. So this is what I'm saying. When we're presenting stuff, we show the source of the information where it is coming from. So this one is from the Jamaica Star. So this is not Mystic Sensation is saying, right? Here it is, the Jamaica Star mainstream media. Now let us read, my Jamaican people. Ex-MP hit with incest charge. PNP takes action. What is important there? Ex-MP hit with incest charge. What is important there? PNP takes action. April 7, 2026, the People's National Party has moved swiftly. People, you see the adverb there? Move swiftly to start the disciplinary process for the former member of parliament now at the center of a disturbing incest allegation involving his teenage daughter. Let us take that away. Let us take that away. Now, since that this case, right, is now in the criminal justice system, as it relates to my professionalism, I will not discuss it any further, right? Because that, right, has been dealing with, but we want to show you that the People's National Party, right, had made decision, right, in terms of have that person, right, exited until due diligence, until, right, such case can be determined. Well, where am I going in saying that leadership is important and leadership, right, makes a difference? Now, let us show you something as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party, right? Now, Mark Golding is not going to play around with something like that. Like, I mean, incest, that is very serious allegation. But let us look, right, if we want to make some comparison, since the Jamaica Labour Party vloggers have it out there dragging all over social media, right? Because they don't know, right? Because they are totally oblivious, right, to the fact that several members of the Jamaica Labour Party involved as it relates to child molestation. So tonight we are going to wake them up because apparently they don't know. Let us get to the first case that we want to point out. Yes, let us get to the first case that we want to point out. And as it relates to what we are going to read, Jamaica, right, to show you, right, to show you what is going on. And this is the reason why we said leadership is very important, right? Look on this situation in comparison in terms of what Mark Golding did. Now, when we have serious accusation like this, right, we hold the bull by the horn and we deal with it, right? And so then that is important to mention, right, where that is concerned. That is important to mention. So I'm going to bring up a document, right, and I am going to show you, right, what happened as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party leadership dealing with partially, similar matters. And this is where we make the difference, where that is concerned. All right? Now, so let me show this as it relates to what I'm reading from, to show that I am reading actually from a document, right? Have they seen it? Right? Just want to, for people, because you know that we like to have our evidence in terms of that. It's unfortunately that we don't have the document up on the system. All right. Now, so what this been saying, now that the court documents are out, showing that the 14-year-old was truly raped and bleeding, and the Qatar rapist had confessed to 2 different police officers that he actually had consensual sex with the minor. What next for the Jamaican leader who embraced this child convicted molester like a hero? The child molester was a friend of his victim's family. Let us show how Andrew Holness, right, embracing Andrew Holness, right, embracing that situation. Now, we want to show the picture, because you know how we like to do things. Okay, so let me show Jamaica, right, how Andrew Holness embracing, right, the child molester. Here is it. Not only Andrew Holness embracing the child molester, right? We have Edmund Bartlett, who embracing the child molester. As a matter of fact, right, they actually wrote report to Qatar, right, to aid with his release. Now, this is what we are saying as it relates to leadership. Mark Golding would have never done that. Mark Jefferson Golding would have never, ever done something like that. That you know that he confessed to the crime, served time in prison, and you and your ministry went and embraced him. This is Andrew Holness. This is Andrew Holness. Tolerance for corruption. High tolerance for corruption. Let us show another disgrace of the Jamaica Labour Party, including as it relates to still member of parliament. Still member of parliament who accused of sexually molesting a 13 years of age young lady. Let us show that document. Right? 13 years of age. And this member of parliament, let us give it some, yes. Because we want people to see it. We want to name them and shame them. Name them and shame them. Stacey and Thompson, now 23, and living in the United Kingdom, writes that Robert Montague raped her as a child. She states that since age 13, he, Robert Montague, has raped her numerous times, and it only ended when she was age 18. Now, here it is. Robert Montague accused of rape. Woman has alleged that Robert Montague raped her. Since the arrest and charge of the Moravian minister Rupert Clark, advocates have taken to social media to bring light to the instances of rape, molestation, and crimes against children in Jamaica. Take that away. Take that away. We talk about leadership, the quality of leadership, the importance of leadership, the value of leadership. And we have seen that Mark Golding not only speak, but he had demonstrated that. We have seen that. And Mark Golding, quick on the draw in saying, step aside. From once you allowed yourself to be accused, from once you allowed yourself to be charged, step aside. But let me say this. Let me say this, Jamaica. Andrew Michael Holness cannot and will not hold anyone responsible, because Andrew Michael Holness is the chief criminal of them all. And so he cannot and will not discipline them. He ensure that the code of conduct, as it relates to the principal behavior of someone who is going to serve a public office, at least guarantee to the people that he's going to serve them with some sense of integrity. He did not sign the code of conduct. And by any way, right, he knows that, of course, is Satan personification. And so then he has to do as it relates to what is in his DNA and chromosome, right? Now, let me just go to Melting Pot for a Melting Pot comment on the situation where we talk about leadership and the difference that Mark Golding has shown to the world. Yes, Melting Pot, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Byron. Yeah, man. You know, whenever we talk about leadership, you know, we're supposed to go back to the, original process where you do have vetting. Yeah. And if you put Sir Mark Jefferson Golding alongside Andrew Holness, and you carry out a vetting procedure, Mark Golding come out on top every time. First of all, you look upon them educational background, you look upon them upbringing, home where them grew up in and everything and such the like. Mark Golding come out on top in that. We know that for a fact. You look upon both individual growing up and what have they done in participating in anything nationally or on a community basis. You can't find Andrew Holness, but you find Mark Jefferson Golding representing Campion College at Sunlight level in cricket and also representing Jamaica at the senior level, representing the national team. So we look on all those criteria and we come up with a formula. Yeah. Andrew Holness come out of obscurity, you know. Nobody don't know him. People didn't know Mark Jefferson Golding. Mark Jefferson Golding was on the front page. Yeah, was on the radio. When I read out the sports report a morning time, you hear name call. You don't hear Andrew name call. Yeah. And then now when it come down to elimination process and you're making an assessment, one is efficient, you know, and one is deficient. Sir Mark Jefferson Golding is an efficient leader, an efficient individual. Andrew Holness is deficient in every aspect. So me know when you talk about leadership, what I look for quality in upbringing and quality in how you excel beyond your teenager age. Mark Golding has, you know, excelled into a wonderful, brilliant Jamaican, a businessman, a banker, a sports personnel that represent the country at the highest level, and a man who has remained, you know, intact with his private life. And so Mark Golding present an unblemished record. Now in the case of Andrew Holness, Hall of Fame record blemish, you know. Hall of Fame record blemish. And that now, and that you draw the line under. And that's so you know who good where leadership is concerned from who is not even surplus to requirement. So when I hear a lot of people come out and try to make a comparison, yeah, there's no comparison. Yeah. Not within the two aspects. The People's National Party does not have any comparison that would, you know, rival the Jamaican Labour Party. And the leadership of both parties, there is no comparison. Mark Jefferson Golding is way out ahead. And just look at these people. We have seen debate, yeah. And Mark Golding, yeah, has been very, very successful in those debates. Because, you know, Mark Golding have the substance. Yeah, Andrew Holness don't have no substance. So we know and we draw the line. And when we talk about leadership, yeah, Mark Golding as a opposition leader has demonstrated that in spade. You hear what I'm saying, people? He has demonstrated leadership in spade. When you look at Andrew Holness, the chief civil servant, he has not even mentioned anything in regards to those things. You understand? Remember, we have seen a lot of circumstance taking place within the Jamaica Labour Party. And we have not heard anything from the hierarchy. We don't hear anything from Andrew Holness. Agintai, as we know, him rape a 13-year-old for 5 years consecutive. And not just only did he rape her, he abducted her and take her to places all over Jamaica. Take her to all Kingston. Yeah? And he used her as a sex toy, as a sex object for 5 years. And affidavits came from the United Kingdom. And I don't see anybody within the Jamaica Labour Party, the leadership, the DPP, nobody paid that affidavits in regard. They paid scant regard to the affidavits as if it's not coming from a reputable country. So we know what we are looking for and what we are talking about. And there's more than one in the Jamaica Labour Party, yeah, who has committed these high-level atrocity against young teenage girl in Jamaica. And they have swept it under the carpet. Yeah? So there is no comparison between the two parties or the leadership of both parties. The People's National Party is well ahead in terms of how it constructs its business. Not just at the lower level, but at the higher level. The leadership is well advanced and is the best right now currently available in Jamaica where both parties concerned. So we just want the people out there to get the narrative straight, Yeah, and stop follow propaganda. There is nothing administratively wrong with the People's National Party serving as government in the 90s. Nothing wrong. Everything that's been put out there is done to, destroy the People's National Party without having the relevant fact. So we call them and we treat them as propaganda. Because them talk or them can't present the facts. Now when we speak about the Jamaica Labour Party, we put up the facts. And we show it to everybody and we speak about it. Because we like to bring clarity, and we not do tabloid. Yeah? So we have some little people now recently. We see them and show them true colors. Because they was snake on the grass a couple of months ago. Now we hear them talk all type of gibberish. And I make comparison. And some of them not relevant, because some of them wasn't GLP nor PMP, them was UIC. You understand? And them go around some people now and I try to stir up some little nasty garbage, gutter water politics, where them can't even speak about. They are not privileged to speak about. Yeah, because they don't have the facts. And when you don't have the facts, you're not privileged. You go into chat gibberish. Yeah, so we just outline that and make that straight for everyone know where we are come from with this. Yeah. Because you see where governance is concerned, it must be put out on a transparent basis. Yeah. I don't like governance that come with corruption and people, backstabbing each other using rhetoric of lies, propaganda, and scandal. No, we not deal with them type of politics there. We want the politics we present on a platform where everybody can see it for themselves and comprehend because the facts are there. You understand? So that is out there now. Now, I want to ask the Iraqis, yeah? When we have situation like what we just said, with the former People's National Party member of Parliament committing an incense amongst his own, I like to see the swift action like what Mark Jefferson Golding has, undertake. Yes. Swift action, no delay. You understand? But it can't be just that Mark Golding alone utilize swift action. I want to see the leader of the country also implement such measures. Yes? Swift action. Yeah? Because we have seen several individuals done some serious thing. Yeah? And it don't have to be incense. Serious other offense. And we haven't seen any course of action taken by the leader of the country. So we just want to put that out there and kudos to Mark Golding, yeah, because he has always demonstrated leadership quality at the highest level. Yeah, and so nobody can say, well, them in hugging up this affair. No, him deal with it pan a party, agenda and get it out there swiftly. And so we applaud him tremendously for that because we are not harboring those type of people in the party, because we don't want nobody to have the People's National Party as a slack party. Because a lot of things in life come with pride and principle, Yeah, but some people don't have that. Yeah. But as Sir Lord Byron said, we're not going to dwell on this case at the moment because it's in the hand of who's supposed to deal with it. So we leave it for the time being. And if in the future we have to revisit it, we will. But for now, it's been dealt with appropriately and professionally. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
Well said, Melting Pot. Well said. I love the spice that you had. And without any delay, look who we have, Brother Rattigan. All right, Brother Rattigan, meet and greet your people. All right, blessings.
Oh, no sound.
No sound, Brother Ratty. All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. No sound, still no sound. All right, so Brother Rattigan.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes. All right, meet and greet, Brother Ratty.
Yeah. Look, thanks for being patient with me.
Yes.
It's an ongoing thing. The Wednesday program, the Saturday program, it's the same thing. Every time we get ready to come on, no matter how we set up, it's almost like I have to set up and just sit down and don't move for like an hour, because once you set it up and you walk away and we come back, something. But thank God for Kevin, because Kevin not too far away, never too far away. So I call him, I eat him dinner, and him come on and him go through and do him thing. And so here I am. Pleasure to be here. Looking forward to the discussion. Big up
All
yourself, Milton, Pat, Lord Byron, Lady Anne-Marie, and all of you wonderful people out there.
That's it.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that, Brother Ratigan. All right. We are going to get into the people's business. All right. All right. Again, we talk about just a continuation of good leadership and the type of person Mark Golding is. And I think, it's really a privilege, right, as it relates to the People's National Party, having Mark Golding at the helm, right, showing good governance, right, and first and foremost, right, integrity. And so then let us get into the business of the day. Now, we are going to touch into Jacden, right, and deal with some issues there. So, Lady Mystic, bring up that Jacden clip, right, to hear what Dennis Gordon is saying as it relates to the situation as it unfolds, right? So, let us hear what he has to say as it relates to the unfolding situation. All right.
Has rejected calls for his resignation and scoffed at claims that he scammed the state out of millions of dollars when his company, Jacden Limited, benefited from the University Hospital of the West Indies UWI's tax-exempt status. In his first full media interview since the matter was raised in a report from the Auditor General's Department AGD in January, Gordon told the Jamaica Observer that the calls for his resignation are being done for political reasons as there was no finding of corruption or criminality by his company or himself. Let me put everything in context and perspective. Those who are calling for my resignation, they have no moral authority to do so. If we are going to talk about resignation, let us go across the board. But I am not here to defend the stewardship of anyone else. I am here to defend the stewardship of myself. This is character assassination. It is modern-day lynching by persons with their own political agenda, said Gordon. If the Auditor General had fined me, had indicted me for anything, I would have been the first to resign. Because I did not go to politics for a paycheck, I entered politics for service, declared Gordon. According to the AGD report tabled in Parliament, the UWI misused its tax-exempt status to import goods for 4 private companies, which it identified as companies 1, 2, 3, and 4, resulting in losses totaling $23 million. Customs records showed that items such as office furniture, laundry, and medical equipment were declared as hospital imports. But inventory records confirmed these were not acquired by the hospital and were instead obtained by private entities. The audit report stated, this misrepresentation breached the Customs Act, resulting in over $20 million in unpaid import duties, the AGD said, pointing out that false declaration on customs documents are subject to fines or prosecution. The UWI has since named the 4 companies as Supreme Laundry Services, Wilman Sales, Scientific Medical Services, and Jacden Limited. Gordon, who heads Jacden, admitted that the UWI cleared a shipment of dialysis machines for his company, but was adamant that this was not an attempt to avoid the customs duties, which the company has since paid. My company entered into an arrangement with an entity which approved the use of its facilitation, which is convention, and this has been going on for more than 20 years. Having realized that a mistake was made, I could only do the honorable thing by correcting that mistake, said Gordon. I was not directly involved, but that does not mean I do not have to take responsibility for my company's actions, because I own the company. So, what was the cry that the taxpayers would have shorted out of $10.1 million? And so I said to Customs, give me an assessment of what it would have cost so I can pay. They reached out to me and said I should pay approximately $100,000, which I paid. So what is the crime? My only crime is my success and that I am a PNP People's National Party Member of Parliament, Gordon added. He told the Sunday Observer that it has been incorrectly reported that the UWI imported the dialysis machines for Jacden. According to Gordon, the machines had already arrived in the island when the company was then informed that it needed an import permit from the Ministry of Health, which could not be processed in the time that was available to Jacden. The company which supplied the equipment also sent the biomedical engineers who got 10 days in the country. When it was revealed that the machines could not be cleared because they required a permit to clear them, everybody got confused. And so the people who manage my affairs, because I do not manage the day-to-day affairs of the company, they reached out to the UWI. Said Gordon, as he argued that it has been the convention for the UWI to assist its partners in circumstances such as this. And I am not the only one, and I do not know that I will be the last. So everybody is talking about Jacden.
So let me say this as it relates to Marlon Morgan, right? On his wish hunting, political wish hunt, and try to politically ambush Mr. Dennis Gordon, right? Now, we have seen clearly, as it relates to the AD, the Auditor General report, right, and what transpired as it relates to Jacden. Jacden did not involve in any egregious buyback. Did not. Jamaican people, listen as we present the facts. You have company, which including of the 4 companies in question, that involve in buyback as it relates to the ratio of 10. Marlon Morgan, NNN, Draws Davis, and all of them have no interest in terms of looking on corruption and call out corruption. They have interest in looking on things that they can utilize propaganda and to gain political momentum and to drown the real situation that is happening as it relates to what is devastating in terms of what Rosie has come out with. Let us not be fooled that the Jacden situation as a little yam hill being exploited to be a mountain. To do what? To cover and drown out serious atrocities that happened. When we have a Rosie Hamilton, who is a stalwart of the Jamaica Labour Party for over 30 years, coming out and saying that Donovan Williams is a criminal. Donovan Williams, you are enriching yourself. This accusation did not come from someone outside the Jamaica Labour Party. An internal reflection, an outburst that shocked many of us. The most crippling thing of all is that Donovan Williams, as according to Rosie, orchestrated the burning down or the burning out or the Eventide 2.0 to have our Jamaican brothers and sisters dislocated as a result of their political gains. That is atrocity. And what happened? And this is one of the reasons in terms of my argument when I said you're calling upon the opposition to create heat and go there and yes, push the issues. The People's National Party is ventilating the issues. They spoke on it, roughly about 3 press releases out on it. The DPP heard of this. The Commissioner of Police knew of this. The relevant authorities, they know of this. They need to do what needs to be done. So let me ask you, Marlon Morgan. Let me ask you this. I wonder if I could chase that Morgan surname to Henry Morgan. Because it seems like you're from the foundation of corruption. As it relates to the robbery and the ICs. So let me ask, Marlon, because I've seen that you try to justify another thing and try to separate Donovan Williams right from Dennis Garden in saying that Rosie is just an ordinary person who was just complaining, and that Donovan Williams came out categorically to deny it. Not judging from the fact that both are elected persons. Not judging from the fact that Rosie is a stalwart in the Jamaica Labour Party. Not judging from the fact that when Rosie spoke these words, Rosie was not speaking to the public at large. She communicated it into a chat group. A private chat group. What does that mean? Who Rosie was communicating to? Rosie was communicating to internal GLP personnel. So Rosie wasn't hiding. Rosie did not mean for it to escape from out of the confines of the chat group. Someone in the chat group make it becomes an explosion on social media. And so then with that being said, it simply means we are asking the relevant authority, what is it that you are doing about it? This is why corruption continues. Because the DPP, the Commissioner of Police, and the respective entities failed us miserably. You're asking what the opposition is doing. You're asking, where is the opposition in all of this? I want to know if it was the opposition who told Donovan to do all of that as it relates to what he was accused of. Was the opposition involved in that? There are factors that JFJ needs to address. The humanity crisis in that when you decide to burn people out of their homes. It is vicious. It is wicked. But now you decide to what? Silent it. Let us keep it hush hush. And a little birdie told me that you know, promising Rosie, right? All sort of things. I did warn you, Donovan. I did tell you that you're going down the wrong road when you try to challenge Rosie. Because Rosie of the bill and receipt, I did warn you. But I told you, right? That pride cometh before a fall. And this is what happened. But let us show you, again, leadership. And we talk about leadership here. We highlight leadership as it relates to Mark Golding. And so Mark Golding as a solid leader, an excellent leader, a leader is going to make a difference, and begging, asking Andrew Holness to follow suit. Take a page out of this book. This is what Mark Golding had done. Let us go to the next clip. This is what Mark Golding had done. An excellent leader, a leader that is showing the world that, look, I have to be transparent to my Jamaican people because I am accountable to them. This is one of the reasons why majority of Manleyites beg Mark Golding, beg him to stay at the helm, because the people trust him, confide in him, and love him for his ways. Mark Golding is a necessity in terms of bringing Jamaica forward, because we need it now. We are experiencing what we call a leadership crisis. And that is what is wrong. Criminal justice system, I am calling upon you to do the right thing. Commissioner of Police, I am calling upon you to do the right thing. Now here's the comrade leader. Statement from the PNP president and opposition leader Mark J. Golding, MP, regarding Dennis Garden and Jacden. Kingston, Jamaica, April 5th, 2026. And I tell you something, you know, even although Mark Golding dealing with this in such a short space of time, so effective. Marlon Morgan is on the political wish hunt in saying that Mark Golding delay in coming out. Now let me ask you a question. Marlon Morgan, before I read this. How long have the Integrity Commission investigators tie with Andrew Holness to come up with documents so that it's statutory declaration to be certified? How long, Marlon Morgan? How long FID have the case file over there? And all they need is for Andrew Holness to come with relevant document to justify his illicit enrichment. 4 years ongoing. And Mark Golding acted less than a week. And you and your political vision. Is that what taxpayers' money is paying you to do? That is what taxpayers' money really paying you to do? My dollar going in your pocket to do what? To protect a status quo of criminality and corruption. You're a crying shame. You're a disease. You're a virus. Now, Kingston, Jamaica, April 5th, 2026. Based on the facts made available to me, I have seen nothing to suggest that Jacden has broken any law. Right then and there, clear and precise. Furthermore, Mr. Garden has, as is appropriate, recused himself from Public Accounts Committee hearing considering this matter. Let me ask you a question. Mr. Garden, no one did not have to tell Mr. Garden to recuse himself. Mr. Garden, as a decent gentleman, know that the situation, right, is a little bit fluid. And so for clarity, he said let me recuse myself from the PAC. Now, let us talk about Andrew Holness. 4 years, statutory declaration cannot be certified. Can he be like Dennis Garden in saying, let me recuse myself from the situation until justice prevails? But what he had done instead, let me get Dennis Strong. See if Dennis Strong can object, interfere, and impede with the investigation. Well, let me tell you something, Marlon Morgan and Andrew Holness. Dennis Strong cannot help you. God help your soul. Let me read that over again to show you the gentleman Mr. Garden is. Mr. Garden has, as is appropriate, recused himself from the Public Accounts Committee hearing considering this matter. What a gentleman. Nevertheless, the situation with Jacden has emerged in the public domain within the context of the many serious findings of maladministration at the UHWI in the Auditor General's report. Now, let me just speak on that. It is Christopher Tufton, indeed, who select the members of the board. And they have been having issues, serious issues of misappropriation from way back, as in 2019. And Tufton, who should provide some sense of oversight, and the board, who's supposed to provide some sense of oversight over the functionality of UHWI, all the leaders fail to do that. So then I believe it is essential we consistently demonstrate our party's commitment to high standard of probity in public affairs and due respect for the spirit of leadership code of conduct that our MPs and senators have all signed. Take that away, honey. Take that away. Take that away. Take that away. The leadership code of conduct that we all signed. But let me ask, I wonder why Andrew Holness did not sign the leadership code of conduct and an extension influence his subordinates not to sign. A sense of premeditation to the fact that they are premeditatedly wanted to corrupt themselves, and they had executed that quite precisely. Without any further delay, let me ask Brother Rattigan his take on the matter. Brother Rattigan.
Yeah. The Dennis Jacden situation, it's quite telling that Dennis decided to recuse himself or take himself from the proceedings with the PAC because they were looking into his matter. But there's so much to unpack with that situation because we finally learned last week of the names of the other 3 companies. And we haven't heard anything about them. We didn't hear about them before, and we heard the names, but we haven't heard anything since. We heard about Jacden. Now, folks, what's interesting about Jacden is this. And again, I have my pet peeve about how you conduct investigations. And, you know, I'm not the Auditor General, but here's what happened. The former CEO indicated that in a letter regarding the Jacden, Jacden's importation of the dialysis machines and furniture. He said that the goods were imported solely for UA. That is what the former CEO said in a letter. He said, all the stuff you say coming in for Jacden, they're our stuff. They're coming in. We're going to be using them. Then the current CEO, when they say the current CEO, I'm not sure if they're talking about the gentleman who testified last week or his predecessor. But no, that person said that we never facilitated the import at all. So you have two distinctly different versions of what happened. The sad part is Jacden's executive, the board and the chairman and the owner, nobody was interviewed based on what my reading of the report. So it's kind of hard then to say, well, they broke any laws when you have one CEO saying, hey, it came in and it came in for our usage, and another one saying, no, no, we had nothing to do with it. What we do know is that the goods were imported by UA. We have the receipts for that. So somebody is lying, and they didn't, and because you only heard like one side of the story, one side meaning the UA side, and even that we had contradictions. They didn't hear from Jacden's side. No, I heard from Jacden's side. I heard from Jacden's side, and it just shows you how how stupid these people are. And I said, people, I'm talking about the UA management, the CEO and the others. Because one of the things they said last week was that Jacden had to pay 10 million, and Jacden was looking, and there's a penalty that will be assessed, and the penalty could go as high as 30 million. And if you watch the program last week, folks, you saw where I put up the receipt. Jacden paid the 10 million, and Jacden's management told me, them said, we don't have no more money to pay the customs. It's finished. It's 10 million. We paid the 10 million. They had paid $1 million before. But what the CEO said is that, no, they're going to pay the 10. And after they pay the 10, they're going to get assessed a penalty. Jacden said, we don't have no penalty. We don't know what this man is talking about. We have no clue what this man is talking about. So, you know, when I read the report and I talked to Jacden and I looked at the stuff that Jacden did, I mean, what Dennis did by saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to recuse myself from the committee that's looking into this matter, that was the right thing to do. And think about it. Think about it. We're here applauding him and saying that, you know, wow, we did the right thing. And think about what that means. Because this is something that we shouldn't be applauding him up for. But you know why we have to applaud him? Because look on the other side, so many things go wrong, and not one time. They have to look at the convicted criminal, Dalrymple. They had to actually force her to step aside. Because initially she didn't. Initially it looked to me as if she didn't want to step aside. But what Dennis did is something that should be expected of every single politician. That when your name is called in a situation, whether you did it or not, you recuse yourself and let the investigation take its course. And then once it's been resolved, you come back or you stay away. So this Jacden thing here, for me, it's a no-brainer. The money, and then also remember now, if you're going to lock up Dennis, then you have some people that you will lock up too. Because,
but Rocky, hold on, as I talk about lock up Dennis, what would the charge be?
Well, based on what the Auditor General is saying, she's saying that there was some shenanigans with how the whole thing was structured, where they came in, they didn't pay the 10 million duty, and they paid it later. And that in and of itself, using at the very least, with you doing it, that was a violation of law. But they would have to charge, if they're going to charge anybody, they have to charge you, the people
Exactly.
in charge. And if they're going to charge Dennis as a co-conspirator, saying then, well, he was involved with that. Well, the only way you can know that, you have to talk to the people in my UA. And say,
Exactly.
yeah, I said, was he involved? And what was the nature of the agreement that you had? By the way, people, they asked a question last week. They asked, what was the nature of the agreement between Jacden and UA? And did anybody benefit, the people benefit from the importation of the dialysis machines? Two things. One is, a lot of the politicians, people, especially I'm talking to people in Jamaica right now, they're shortchanging you. They come to these meetings and they're unprepared. They're not prepared. Because some of the questions I heard them ask, if they had just read the report, they would have, the answers are right there. The answers are right there. But with Jacden, what Jacden did that nobody's talking about is this. Going back to when they asked him, did Jacden have a relation? Did Jacden help anybody? Did any Jamaican citizen benefit from the Jacden with the importation of the machines? Here's something that didn't come out in the report, and that's why I'm saying to you that it's unfortunate that sometimes when we do these reports, they look on only one side.
Yes.
Because here's let me tell another deal. What happened was simply this. The university had 60% of the dialysis machines that they had wasn't working, inoperable. 60%. And if you wanted to get dialysis treatment, you're talking about months. So what the deal that they had was, okay, you bring it in, and you charge the people less than what they're paying at UA. They didn't mention that. That was part of the deal, that you bring it in, and when you bring it in, because we can't deal with all the patients, and we don't have the money for bringing all of these machines. So you bring in the machines, and what will happen is that, and in fact, when they asked the question, if people had gone from UA to Jacden. People went from UA to Jacden.
So hold on, Ratty. So based on that contractual agreement, that would automatically give him some ease with the tax exemption. That is where you're going.
Yes, that's where I'm going with it. So what happened is that I asked the question Saturday. I said to Mr. Hassan or whatever his name is. I said to him, because he said nobody in UA, in management, nobody knew anything about any deals or anything that Jacden did to help the people, something to that effect. And I said, listen, what you must do, ask them if at any point the University Hospital of the West Indies sent patients to Jacden using their vehicles, meaning the university vehicles. Ask them if they referred anybody to Jacden. Ask them how much them charge for dialysis treatment at the University Hospital of the West Indies, and then ask them how much they charge at Jacden. I can tell you as I sit here that Jacden was charging thousands of dollars less than what they charge at University Hospital. And you could get treatment like right away. You didn't have to wait. At UA, you're going to wait months. These are some of the things that didn't come out in the report because the Auditor General didn't talk to Jacden. So they won't know. So when people start talking, and that's why I said people, sometimes, the headlines is not always correct. Sometimes you need to sit back and let the story come out and play out itself. And then you talk to people involved and you figure out what's going on. But these are some of the things, Mystic, that That
Yes.
it pains me when I hear people talk about get rid of Dennis and this and that and that. And I'm saying, but they don't even know. They don't even know. They don't know the full story. But and that's just part of the story. But Jacden Goodman, and we haven't heard about the other three because it was Cliff Hughes who came out and said that one of the other three is a company owned by a JLP. I don't remember if he said a member, a supporter, or whatever, but he said he's hearing that it's owned by somebody affiliated with the JLP. And up to now, we're the companies, but we don't hear anything more.
Okay.
We're dead. All right, sir.
Thank you for that, Brother Ratty. Really appreciate that. Now, Melting Pot, on the relay, what say you? Let us hear your take on the matter, Brother Melting Pot.
Well, I just want to say, wherever you find that there is a wide disparity in information, then you know there's deep, deep corruption hidden around that environment. And so, from all what we are hearing, is a wide disparity within the information. Someone is hiding the fact and not telling the truth. And I mean, I cannot blame that on Jacden. I have to shift that balance right over to UHII and the administrative staff. That administrative staff is the said administrative staff that Christopher Tufton commissioned himself. And so you have to start to wonder, because there was a very efficient administrative staff there, with senior doctors, that formed that panel of administrator. And Tufton went in and uprooted that. And now we are seeing the reason why. Because this Christopher Tufton administrative staff at UHII, they are corrupted and they are telling lies to defend themselves in the high-profile corruption that has now been uncovered at the institution. Where Jacden is concerned, Jacden has a contract with UHII to provide janitorial work. Number one. Secondly, they provide dialysis treatment to patients at very, very affordable cost, far way less than what UHII would have charged patients. And the time-consuming effect is far, far more favorable for the patient to get treated. Now, when you look at $10 million, if that even was the case, subtract that from the 570 million. What you have left back? You have 560 million left back, I don't hear them talking about that, Coming like that disappear. Coming like that 560 million now out of the 5, because Jacden paid 10 million. So what happened to the 560 million that is still being, not in circulation to the eyes of the Auditor General? Some people need to come out and speak, and I'm telling you, if I had anything to do with any form of the, justice system, say like arresting officer, I go in and arrest the whole entire UHII administration board, because they are the one culpable. They have been placed there by Christopher Tufton. And when I say this from a very authoritative point of view, because I've seen similar type of tactics, and I won't come to that. But this board was commissioned by Christopher Tufton to carry out high-level criminal activity. And, this is why they can't speak about the other three. They can't speak about Supreme Laundry. They can't speak about SMS. And the next one, I've never heard them disclose what that one name is. But they can't speak about them. And the simple fact of the matter, they are the one that was selling back the items tenfold to UHII. You can imagine UHII use their tax exemption waiver and bringing the things to these other three companies, but they were selling back the stuff to UHII 10 times the price it was originally imported for. So there is where the biggest issue lies, but we're not hearing that. Now, when you look on what happened up there, we've seen the same thing take place down in Montego Bay, at the Montego Bay depot, transport depot, where Vaz placed Keisha Mack. Keisha Mack did not qualify for the job. And Darrell Vaz placed her down there only to steal. And we have seen how many millions was stealing from that institution. I recently heard that they move her, she's not there anymore. She wasn't qualified. She wasn't qualified. But she was placed there specifically to do the work. And we have seen the similar, behavior pattern all over a lot of ministries. You understand? We see people who have qualification becomes contractor from big site, billion-dollar site. But we could look at something now, which is very, very serious. Now we have to ask ourselves the question. How did Marlon Morgan becomes a senator that is now being paid by the Jamaica taxpayers? A man who don't have no qualification, A man who speak shit and propaganda and all type of gibberish out of his mouth. A man who only attack the People's National Party. And a man who speak from a position point of view where he has no knowledge of what he's speaking about. I find that very despicable. And I find that to be disrespectful to taxpayers to have a guy who has no qualification, as far as I'm concerned, to become a senator. But we have seen this type of behavior by the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. Because remember, Fish Headless was at Big Mama radio station, And Fish Headless gone over there. Yeah? No, we see big nasty thinking water when a beard was smell like 10 days cabbage water. Him over there now as senator. This is where I have problem with the selected member that goes into the House of Representatives. With a member of parliament or senator, whether in the upper house or the lower house, me have problem with that because I see some garbage, people. Over there, so, and all them do is spread propaganda and lie, and they must be charged for treason. Because this said guy, Marlon Morgan, has done it over and over. Yet he has seemed to be one of them mongrel dogs. When you pass them gate, them mongrel want to see your shadow, them run out and bite you. And them not bite you for no cause, because them not no reason for bite you. This guy has no moral compass to speak to anybody in Jamaica. Him is a piece of shit and him unqualified. Him is a political puppet placed by the leader. You have to cast mayhem in a society. And you place him in the Senate to tell lie, to run out from People's National Party and them supporters. No, we not going to have that, And when all is said and done, Mr. Dennis Gard must sue this piece of shit. This guy, Marlon Morgan, A.K. Warthog, must be sued by Dennis Gardner and Jacden for coming out and publicly stating that this man is in breach. Jacden has already paid them $10 million based on the assessment done by the custom, of what he had used from the UHII importation. You understand? They imported the thing, right? Jacden only get the facilitated tax exemption that was there for UHII to bring in the things. Okay? But the simple fact of the matter, Jacden contract to UHII providing janitorial service and also dialysis services. Then you could never see Jacden in breach, Because Jacden is giving back more than what UHII give them. When you do the maths, Jacden is giving back more. Jacden has been even helping out patients who go there and don't have any money. You can't carry up to 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. I remember, one dialysis treatment in a Jamaica now around you all 26,000. But Jacden have provided for this, so you tell me, my Jamaican people, has Jack done anything in breach? No, I don't see them breach no law, no nothing. No. So we want to get this thing out there now and correct it now and tell the people them now. My Jamaican people, listen. Jacden clean as a whistle, you know. Yeah, Jacden clean. You know who filthy and dirty? Tough tongue administrative staff for him have up a UHII. And the big piece of shit, Marlon, Wartag, we are run out. We say him a senator, we not qualify. Him a senapad. I run him come for run Jamaican people belly with wrong information, garbage and corruption. Them then a senator material. You understand? And Jamaican people for wake up, you know. Andrew put too much garbage in a parliament, you know, people. Yeah. Andrew has desecrated the parliament by putting them type of shit in the House of Representative. Because Andrew's running a mafia administration. And when you do mafia work, remember nobody good people now are involved in a mafiaism, you know. So you take up type of shit. Like Marlon Wartag, criminal for the mafia work, come out and tell lie. No, this guy must be sued. And me I tell Mr. Dennis Garden, yeah, and all of you members them on your board, a company. You see when all is said and done, me want to hitch up a lawsuit on that big thinking Marlon Wartag, make him know him space, yeah? Make him know, say, no, because the crime minister have you around him, you can come out and do anything towards character assassination of reputable people in Jamaica and get away with it. We not going to tolerate that. Too much shit happen under the Labour administration. And remember, you know, when you have a crime minister at the head of the helm, you know, you're going to have problem. You're going to be a criminal itch up around him, unqualified people. And so far we have seen, because remember, you know, if the leadership can't speak to defend himself, to save him life, Marky G rub him out several times. It's sure you say, yeah, Andrew Holness not have no standard. Because remember, you know, and I like to use yardstick for measure my thing, them, you know. The school with Andrew, boy, you know, them not really have no pride in a certain aspect of the student, them just teach them. It's a Campion College, they have a standard higher than Blue Mountain. And Mark Golding was molded into that standard. Yeah? And you can see wherever he goes, he exemplifies that standard. And in every shape, form of life. Yeah? Mark Golding is exemplary to what a true statesman is. Yeah? Andrew Holness a garbage, come from a little idiot school, St. Catherine High. Nobody no rate that. Yeah? I mean, I like to discriminate educational institution, but everybody know that for a fact. You cannot put a St. Catherine High student and measure with a Campion College student. And this is where I can make my assessment of the two individuals. Okay? Because what Marlon Morgan done, if Jefferson Golding was in charge of Marlon Morgan, he would have reprimanded him strongly. Probably withdraw him from the Senate. Andrew does not do these things. What Andrew likes to do is use these garbage to stir the fire and think him can get out on the other side unscathed. No, we are here in social media to make it our due policy to highlight these indicative indiscrimination of the Andrew Holness administration. They like to discriminate people in all ways, shape, and form and come out with lies. And this is where we have the problem. Now we are calling on civil society now to echo their voice in asking Andrew Holness to remove Marlon Wartag from the Senate. It's not one time he has come out.
Use another minute to wrap up because the file is big.
Yes, it's not one time him come out and carry out these high level of atrocity and decent Jamaican citizens. And in that regard, he must be removed from the Senate. I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. Thank you for that, melting pot. All right. What we want to show Jamaica, right, is a consistent thing with the Jamaica Labour Party as it relates to high level of corruption, and where you have, people at the helm, right, of the administration covering up these corruption. Now, listen to this as it relates to the breach of UHII. What we are talking about 22 files that totally went missing, right? That has to report on $246 million. This is very serious, extremely serious. But I'm going to show a consistent pattern that run through most of Andrew Holness' administration. People can't believe it. Look at this. So let us go back to, right, that situation in hearing, right, the probity as it relates to 22 files that missing that should report on $246 million. Listen to this, people, and I'm going to show you a consistency where this happened, right, through various ministries, not only UHII. So let us play that on it.
Thank you, Chair. Chairman, we are talking about 22 procurement files with contracts valued at over $246 million, not found, appears to have vanished. Chairman, earlier you, and I'm going to paraphrase, you said that you don't want to accuse anyone of being deliberate, but you're sorely tempted. When systems do not work, and when we are seeing that it is like, it's obvious, so why is this not working? When accountability is weak, I'm putting it to you, Chairman, that usually there is someone or entities that are benefiting by the current function. Chairman, we will hear that a new person is in the post, maybe a new CEO, or we will hear that the practice has discontinued. And this Jumanji series of events, it is becoming even more bizarre and outlandish and outrageous with explanation. When we hold people accountable, what are the suite of action items?
The body scanner reveals the brutal truth about your body that your regular.
Why this is serious? This is serious to the fact that that sort of behavior led to a $3 trillion crisis. Jamaica, listen to me. That very same sort of behavior, right, where she's speaking specifically at the UHII with this particular incident, where 22 files just missing. Now, that 22 files, as it relates to procurement contract that valued $246 million. So let us get very serious with this. So when the Auditor General is saying to us, Jamaica, and when Christopher Tufton, let me begin with Christopher Tufton. When Christopher Tufton came out and said, only, never in the history of Jamaica is administration, right, had increased the LK budget from $64 billion to $147 billion. The question now, where is it? Where is it? Now, look at this, Jamaican people, that Flavor Williams is saying to the Auditor General, no, don't speak like that. Don't tell Jamaica that $3 trillion, right, is missing. The fact of the matter, it cannot be accounted for. Look at this, Jamaican people, to show you that it consistently runs through most of Andrew Holness' ministries. Even the office of the Prime Minister cannot give account. The office of the Prime Minister cannot give account for billions of dollars. Look at this.
12.02. 12.02 billion.
$12.02 billion. Jamaica people, look at Favor. Look what Favor is saying here. Let us bring up that document. Right? Now, look at this, Jamaican people, to show you that it is just not UHI. We are only talking about UHWI. No. Right? It's stretched across the entire administration of Andrew Holness. A high level of criminality everywhere. And the permanent secretaries are to be blamed. You see, just like UHWI with the same pattern, when they move out the so-called CEO and put in a different CEO, well, it was the same thing that they had done in the health ministry when they move out Dunstan Bryan and put in Green. No consequences, because they know that Dunstan Bryan rub up the ministry. So they move him out and put in Green. And the very same thing happened in UHWI, where they move out that CEO and put in this new person. Consistent behavior. Look at it. Here it is. Finance Ministry working to get ministries up to date in submitting appropriation account. Now, Jamaica, look. The appropriation account supposed to submit it on an yearly basis. Jamaica, suppose me tell you this. From 2016, Andrew Holness took over governance. Andrew Holness administration has not submitted any appropriation accounts. I wonder if you hear that, Jamaica. The appropriation account is going to record all the expenditures in it, so that the Auditor General can follow, track, and audit these ministries. Andrew Holness administration make sure that they don't sign the code of conduct, because they know so they were not going to submit any appropriation accounts. Here it is, people. Look at this. Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, Honorable Favor Williams, says the ministry is committed to putting... Bolo is calling? Okay, let me just answer Bolo. Bring through Bolo. When a Bolo call, bring him through. Okay. All right, Bolo. Yes, you're on the live, Bolo. Go ahead.
Yes, manners and respect to the platform and the, Mr. Will Ratigan and everything, but Mama Mystic and yourself, right?
All right.
Me do want to call from Mr. Will Ratigan talking about couldn't talk. We are talking about Mr. Dennis Gardner right now. You see?
Yes.
This man, them try to deal with the man, turn him in this menace and all of this thing. And the man turn out to be a hero.
Exactly.
We unravel how much thing this man do for the poor people them. The crisis where this kidney disease is concerned in Jamaica is like an epidemic, and it's like nobody not talk about it enough.
Yes.
Like, so there's a need for these dialysis machine. And the man explained thoroughly. They buy them already. The biomedical engineer, they were supposed to install them. They are left in 10 days. So, Mr. Dennis Gardner was involved in the decision, but he had the man, so he have to take responsibility as himself. And them get the tax exemption to clear the thing in time, so the biomedical engineer so install the thing then before they left and go back about their business. And they work with the company. The man has been giving citizens of Jamaica this thing free at times, right?
Yes.
Free. And it costs on the market sometime at 26,000. Imagine you have to take 3 of them there a day. 3 of them there a week, sorry. I have 3 of them there a week.
Yes.
And then when you look at the situation of the people them with this thing, when them go for a job, if they don't have one already, they don't want to hire them because they have to go to the doctor every minute. So they mean I want double conundrum right there. So
here you go.
See, so for the man, I help out the people them to get them this thing. It's not like the other company, them. I don't hear nobody talk about the company with the cup them with them sell back.
Exactly.
You cup them, you get a tax exemption and then sell it back to USWI and get a profit.
Times 10-fold.
Them the company them thing them want to hear about, you know.
Yeah,
I don't want to come with them go like say on the fall fee banana and
Bolo, sell it back to UHWI by 10 folds. The ratio of 10. Okay.
Yes, that is what we want. We want to know which company, who owned them, and why was this arrangement made. Because we double lose, you know. We don't get the tax money, and then we have buy back the thing them at a ridiculous cost, and we could just buy them straight. And then they cut them and they plate them. I read the thing and they must say, all right, the thing they not even use till May or March 2025 for how much years they buy. But what the hell is going on?
Exactly.
What is anti-plan? And then we have Ocean Wide and Charles Davis are come talk about. Oh, and today them still up and Jacden today, you know? Then they eat up, you know? So they might try to steer focus on the other three companies. And I'm saying to the company them, stop endorse this argument online about Jacden. When the evidence come out, if he's guilty, and in charge, and if Market Q decides that he's going to move, we know he's going to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Let us focus on the other three companies.
Yes.
There you go.
That is it. That's all me I try to say to my people.
There you go.
Fall for the banana and the paper. It's a diversion and distraction strategy they might use, and we have enough of them online and on TikTok and on YouTube. They might fall for it.
Yes.
Stop falling for it.
It's a distraction
right?
from the Rosie issue. The
Yes.
distraction from the Rosie
Yes.
issue. Yes.
Of course. Big up yourself still and big up the whole platform. You hear me there?
Blessings, my brother. Blessings.
Yeah.
All right. Now, here it is. Now, to show you that the UHWI, I don't know why they are focusing on Jacden, but the UHWI, right, situation and behavior as it relates to missing files, right? That sort of behavior stretched across Andrew Holness ministry. Here it is. This is Favor Williams, right? Now, the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Honorable Favor Williams, says the ministry is committed to putting additional resources in place to ensure timely submission of appropriation accounts to Auditor General. Remember, I know, this report is supposed to be submitted on a yearly basis. Well, guess what? From 2016, none has been submitted. None. Not one of the ministries. Now look at this. She was addressing Wednesday, December 11, post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House in response to a recent report that government funds totaling $3 trillion have been unaccounted for across 16 government entities over 6 to 11 year period. People, want to hear that? Want to hear that? So the behavioral practice, what you see at UHWI, does not confine to UHWI. Here it is. Here it is. As it relates to the missing reports, right? Not submitting reports. Ensuring that the Auditor General having problem to audit properly. You see that they are criminals. Clear. The evidence is here showing you that they are definitely criminals. Here it is. Now, stating that the funds have not gone missing. This is Favor Williams. That the fund have not gone missing. You want to tell me? You want to tell Favor Williams? You want to tell me where Rural Read funds, where that funds is? She explained that several ministries have been tardy in submitting their appropriation account. You know the sort of tardiness that Favor Williams talking about? The tardiness is from 2016. You know? People, listen to me I say. The tardiness is from 2016. You know? No report, no appropriation account cannot be submitted. Unnecessary criminality this, which reflect expenditure in a financial year compared against the amount approved by Parliament. Right? So this report is going to show you, right, how Parliament expenditure spent. Right? That every single dollar must be accounted for within the appropriation account. Andrew Holness, make sure say him not sign the code of conduct because he knows that he was going to do this. She have pointed out that appropriation accounts are annual reports that are to be submitted to the Auditor General to allow for an audit to be done. Remember, you know, the operative word, annual reports. She pointed out that appropriation accounts are annual reports. That means it's supposed to be submitted every year, yearly, that are to be submitted to the Auditor General to allow what? for an audit to be done. Andrew Holness, as we said, did not sign the code of conduct. Influencing man them did not sign the code of conduct because they were going to execute this. We don't look for the evidence before me I show. We at the Ministry of Finance and Public Service are committed to working with ministries that are behind in terms of putting additional resources. The ministries that you're talking about behind, they have been behind as a result from the very first day Andrew Holness came in power. This is a plot that clearly executed in place in order to begin help these ministries to clear the backlog and to ensure timely completion of these reports at the standard that is required by the Auditor General. She said, then if we now work on it, if we now work on that, how comes now UHWI, right? 22 files gone missing that were $246 million. Remember, you know, your promise to work on it, you know, 2024, this, you know, your promise. So what are the changes being done? What are the corrective measures Flavor Williams have been put in place? None at all. None at all. And so then it also extended to ADPEM. No checks and balance at ADPEM. And so then let me ask, where is NARA? That's supposed to provide oversight. So then basically, when something happens, you react to it and say you are going to correct. But from once it cool down, you people are not correcting, you are stealing. That is what you are doing, not correcting. You want to continue the stealing. Here it is. We at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service are committed to working with ministries that are behind in terms of putting additional resources in place, right, in order to begin to help these ministries to clear the backlog and to ensure timely completion of these reports at the standard that is required by the Auditor General, she said. So let me ask you a question now. Have you corrected the situation? No. All of these ministries that were not on time, have you corrected the situation, Flavor Williams? No. Andrew Holness, fingers all over them. Because he is entitled to taxpayers' money. He is entitled to take taxpayers' money. Darrell Vaz is entitled to take $1.4 billion under the shenanigan of buying school bus, telling lie and a letter that they are new buses. Criminals! You people are criminals! And so then every Ponzi scheme that Andrew Holness in from Cash Plus Holding to SSL, Darrell Vaz there behind him. Darrell Vaz in a Cash Plus, Darrell Vaz in a Holding, Darrell Vaz in a SSL, as a matter of fact, and he managed all GLP accounts in a SSL, according to, right, that person who we interviewed. She noted that many of the appropriation accounts were outstanding during the fiscal year 2012 from 2013. See, the people are not telling no lie. To the fiscal year 2015 to 2016. So the new administration that came in that time would have a difficult time bringing those accounts up to the speed. And that's what we are witnessing. Right? Now look on it now. 2015 to now 2026. Right? 2015 to 2026, you know. Now, but again, I say we are committed as a matter of good governance. Oh, that is a matter of good governance. When you have still not corrected the situation, take that away on it. Take that away. Let me talk to the panel. Brother Rattigan, I'm coming to you as it relates to your take, Brother Rattigan. The reason for the 22 files to be missing, as according to the response, is to say that, you know, that the area that the files been stored, right? Those files have been flooded out and just totally disappear. So then, hold on. So there is no material evidence to even show the wet up file them. We don't know Rattigan. You want to ask, you want to come Rattigan. We are asking what happened to the water files? Because if they flood out, they are locked in a filing cabinet. We never know, say the flood is just going to go in it, open the filing cabinet, and the flood water just say, all right, give me them file, yeah, and then the flood water close back there on the filing cabinet, and the flood water. Come on, Ratty, come talk to you, Ratty, or the one I go. Talk to you, go.
Yeah, them claims, the claim is that the filing cabinets were completely filled with paper, and they have a storage room that they have shelves, and that's where they put the extra files, the files that couldn't fit in the filing cabinet, as if to say Jamaica not have any more, wherever them buy filing cabinets from, them run out of filing cabinets.
Okay.
So it makes no sense. But, and like you say, I guess the paper got mildew and moldy, and then them just threw the paper. But the thing about it is that we shouldn't be surprised, because in the same report, we have contracts being awarded and we have no paperwork. This is not even paperwork that them say wet up, you know. And
exactly.
We have no paperwork for contracts being awarded. Going back to the Dennis Garden, here's another thing that people don't know, that UA owes Dennis Garden, you know, based on what I've been told, millions of dollars.
Look at that.
They owe Jacden millions of dollars for work services provided. They owe them. As of last week, from what I've been told, they owe them money. Then the other thing is that the board that you talk about, the UA board, the hospital board, it has 18 members. 18. The Minister of Health and Wellness appointed, of the 18 members, he appointed 8. That's 44%. That's more than a third of the board that the minister appointed. And we cannot afford to let the minister just walk, because, you know, he has a habit of shifting blame, deflecting, and casting aspersions on others, when in truth and in fact, he's responsible, because it's his ministry. Anything that happens in that ministry, he's supposed to be held responsible. But for the life of me, I don't know. I can understand why the Prime Minister wouldn't hold him accountable. But we have civil society. We have the church organization. We have community organizations. We have these non-political organizations. NGOs. And I don't see them coming out and saying, no, man, we have to hold him responsible. We have to. PSOJ, I can understand why they would have want, because that's their guy, you know what I mean? Yes. I've been told that's who them about. But somebody needs to come out and say, no, man, this man cannot shirk his responsibility and keep pointing the finger of blame at somebody else. I've yet to hear him come out and say, I'm not saying he hasn't done it, I just haven't heard it. And I'm open to being fully corrected. If somebody can just show me, not just one, but a couple of instances, because listen, we have many instances of financial irregularities over at the Ministry of Health. And I just don't see him coming out and saying, you know what, it's my ministry, I'm taking responsibility, I'm gonna make sure this, I'm gonna make sure that. I know people are gonna say, well, then him delegated. Yeah, but guess what happened? You can delegate responsibility, you know. But you see, accountability, you can't delegate accountability. Accountability is yours. You can tell somebody else to do the job, but if the job is poorly done, you can't say, well, then it's not my fault because I gave it to John and John didn't do it. No, at the very least, you did a poor job of selecting John. So we have to get past this and do a much better job. And I'm talking to the Jamaican people now, because we've been in this mood, apathetic mode, for far too long. And you know what I'm saying? A time will come when the rice can't swell. And I think we're at that point right now. Yes, sir. Can't hear you.
No, I'm asking if you complete.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right, melting pot. Let us because let me say we are closing 9 o'clock, right? So we want to have some time for packing the Darrell Vaz situation because we need to touch him, right? And you know the reason as to why Andrew Holness must resign. Yes, melting pot, without any delay.
Well, you know, this type of situation will currently exist up at UHII as it relates to the documents them. We have seen this type of behavior pattern far too frequent in recent times. When you look at all the entities that are being investigated, we have seen circumstances like documents gone missing. The Integrity Commission is a case in point where gunmen and bike shot and stole briefcase and make way with their escape of important document. When you look at SSL Saga, the main office that was, under security surveillance, men went in and over the weekend and stole laptop and computers, and we don't hear anything about it. You understand? Now we're coming to this now, them coming some flimsy excuse. But I sure know we had Beryl and we had Melissa. Every flood rain, those documents were intact. But as soon as it come to light that there's vast discrepancy as it relates to 570 million cannot be, ascertained by the Auditor General. Here we have file now been washed out of an institution, and I don't hear any other, aspect of that institution being, overwhelmed by flooding. So it's just that the filing era alone was being flooded out. Now these are scathing and damaging reports coming from the entity. Yeah? Nothing can go so. Me no fool. Round here so me melting pot a wise man. Nobody can bring them narrative there. Them derogative narrative there and come throw it in front of me. Why Beryl never wash it out? Why Melissa never wash it out? In a dry period of time, the file them get damaged. Cause them file don't get damaged since the investigation launch, You understand? So we want to know what them turn on a hydrant in the filing cabinet area. Must you see this garbage administration take people for dunce because them not deal with education, But I want to tell them we are Manley heights. We were educated under the Michael Manley educational system when put in place. Yeah? We don't come up in a Seaga time when them rubbish the education. So we there with the knowledge. You understand? And we are saying them people have to get charged for perjury. Them are liars. You understand? And them thing I need to stop in the country. Everybody can see. So Andrew Holness administration was designed for this type of behavior. All of them are criminal. Even Flavor Williams, she did take 11 million from Ministry of Education, Me know nobody talk about that, They bring her, come put her, each her up in her finance ministry. Where she not have a clue. People are talking about she bright, she dunce. Flavor that dunce, but Flavor can't put two words together, No. Because Andrew like to have these type of lunatics working for him. How can you have entities going for 11 years without being audited? But yet still we have pay people, we have pay permanent secretary. The first year them not provide them submission. You highlight and expose them and bring it to the fore. Bring it to the forefront of the citizen in the country. That should not have gone on for that period of time. So that's a no-go where I'm concerned because all these permanent secretaries, were being paid by taxpayers to complete the job. And they were like having holiday for 11 years. You understand? And now when it comes to, winding up time, None of the things them can put on the table. That simply means you can't do an auditing, you know. Because them destroy the background of the auditing from the inception. So you cannot go in and audit anything. And this was designed by the crime minister. That's why he and his members did not sign the code of conduct. Now, if you, as a reputable individual, putting yourself forward, to represent the people of Jamaica, the first thing you must have done is signing the code of conduct. That will propel you as a person of integrity. So the fact that Andrew and a man, them and woman, them not sign the code of conduct, them not have no integrity, them are shit. This is why you see all mama cow thief so much money using the system to our, suitability. Because it was there and she take advantage. Yeah, getting waivers and all these things, getting tax exemption. Yeah. But she no come under the scrutiny, like with Dennis Garden commander. Them sweep a fair one under the carpet, you know. And we have to beat it and them have to bring it out back.
All right.
And what? She was charged. And then bring her back to represent the ministry. We charge her, we found her guilty. She's now the junior minister in the Ministry of Justice. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron, because, we want to ride through some of the other topic them.
All right. Blessings for that melting pot, because we have to finish 9 o'clock, so we want to chop through fast. Now, Brother Melting Pot and Brother Ratty, right? A little bird whisper in my ears, I don't know how truthful it is that from the Auditor General launches reporting at the school bus, Darrell Vaz wear pampas. You know how true that.
Let me ask you one question before you go further, Sir Lord Byron. What type of is a hummingbird or is a nightingale? Because nightingale are lap. Which one? Hummingbird?
Well, I'm more for hummingbird. Hummingbird.
From a hummingbird, you can't work with it, but if a nightingale, a lava, then you don't trust them information.
I'm more for hummingbird.
All right, go along, sir.
The hummingbird say, in kind of positive, because from the Auditor General report launch, right? Darrell Vaz lose weight. We can put up the report. Come here, I wonder why not the report, why Darrell Vaz lose weight. We can read the report here. The Auditor General report. Right? We can read the Auditor General report and see what what caused Darrell Vaz to be losing weight. You know. Look you see what going on as a people. The Auditor General launches school bus probe. Well, remember, see the man when tell we say 110 bus up on the island, And if I only 60 on the island, I can understand why they lose weight. I'm going to really understand why in draw for pampas. Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis has initiated a probe into the Ministry of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications, right? 1.4 billion acquisition of 110 school buses amid public concerns over the procurement process. And just imagine, remember the people, a $1 Rattigan PVF bus. $1 brother Rattigan PVF bus. The buses were imported from the United States as a part of the government's National Rule School Bus Program. Monroe Ellis said the audit is in response to numerous stakeholders' representation to the Auditor General's department and need a report regarding the acquisition of 110 school buses by the Ministry of Technology and Transport, right? And that a preliminary assessment was undertaken to evaluate the credibility of the claims and to determine whether there was sufficient justification to initiate a formal audit. Well, I don't believe, say, Darrell Vaz is going to be on the island before the reporter come out, Right? I believe saying go up on the island before the report come out. But anyway, I read the special audit was subsequently commissioned to determine whether the procurement and contract management practices complied with the applicable laws, regulations, policies, guidelines, and guidance notes governing public procurement in Jamaica to attain value for money. Well, you don't know no value for money, no did so. You don't know no value for money, no did so. The findings are expected to be published in July to September quarter later this year. You know, by the time when I reach this, Daryl Vaz has gone out for the island long time. Don't take with that. By the time when I reach July, September, Daryl Vaz will take with himself, man. Now, yes, Lachlan. Can the AU, the Auditor General, sue them to submit these accounts for audit? Brother Ratty.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So here's the answer. The Auditor General of Jamaica uses a combination of statutory powers under the Financial Administration and Audit Act, reporting to Parliament, and public pressure to compel government ministries, departments, and agencies to submit delinquent appropriation accounts. Right? Key mechanisms include reporting non-compliance to Parliament under Section 29 of the FAA Act. The Auditor General is required to report on the result of their examinations, including highlighting cases where accounting officers have failed to submit accounts on time. This report is sent to the Speaker of the House, right, and tabled, right, bringing public and political scrutiny to the delinquency, referred to Public Accounts Committee, and take this. Let me just start to Ratty and Melting Pot. Right now, one thing for sure, as it relates to how important it was for the People's National Party to retain, to get back the Public Accounts Committee and the PAC, because guess what? If the Jamaica Labour Party is still in charge of those two committees, we won't have heard anything pertaining to this. Because remember that they sit, as it relates to various ministries, over 16 ministries, right, failing to submit appropriation account, right? So when you look on the behavior, right, because we have what, 9 minutes to 9 o'clock to close off, Brother Ratty, right? Speak on that in terms of how the effectiveness of the People's National Party controlling those two committees.
Well, I'm happy for that because it's checks and balance. Exactly. And so, there's a tendency, no matter how people try to be fair, impartial, independent, you're going to have some bias towards your side. And so some of the things that have been brought out in the PAC and the PAAC, I don't think they would have been brought out if we had the chair in the hands of the government. No. I think the opposition. It gives you, it gives a sense that there is some balance to the whole thing, and things that are coming out now, they're very revealing, very, very revealing. Going back to the Auditor General, I am beside myself. I'm so disappointed with the Jamaican legislatures, in the sense that the one person who has been doing public service in terms of, she don't call it investigation, it's an audit, but the one person who's been doing it and doing it so well doesn't have the power to bring a court action.
Exactly.
She can only refer. She can only refer, that's all. She can dig and refer. Now, she can go to court though and force agencies, ministries, and departments, and private officials who have received government funds. She can go to court and get a court order for them to turn over things. She didn't do it in one of the cases that she should have, and that's the tertiary committee, the one where Grace McLean and Dean Roy Bernard, they were involved and I think it was 120 million. And when she went to the private company, when she went to the group that was supposed to be advising the ministry that had no registered that group, she went to them. They told her, no, this is a private thing and we don't have to give you anything. However, the Financial Administrative and Audit Act says that if you receive government funds, she has jurisdiction to get information from you. But she didn't do it in that case. But despite that, I still love what she's doing. And the fact that she's now made it public that she's looking into this National Rural School Bus Program is enough to make some people have sleepless nights. And I just want to tell the Auditor General that I see where you've sketched out your mandate and it's looking at things primarily in Jamaica. It's talking about procurement and this and that in Jamaica. But Auditor General, please call upon us in the diaspora because we have the information concerning the purchases that took place in America. And we also have information indicating that the invoices that we're seeing, at least one that we've seen, that there is some doctoring going on. Don't know if it's true, but it's something that you need to look at because we're hearing from people in that circle that it took a lot of back and forth in terms of putting a number here, taking out this number, making this number, increase this number, make it low. And by doing that, they make it even more obvious that something is going on because there's no way you're going to pay 19,000 US dollars for 2010. Yeah, 2010 school bus. There's no way. You can't get them for free. You could have gotten them for free. You can't get them for $1 like I did.
Yes.
So I'm encouraging her to reach out to me, reach out to my group, reach out to you, Melting Pot, whoever she can reach out to. But we have the information about the purchases in America. We have information regarding the person and the company that purchased the buses out of Chicago. And the buses didn't come from Chicago. They came from all over. Some of them come from Vegas, some from New York, some them all over. And we have that information, and we're telling her that if we will give her the information. We'll freely give it to her. And what she can do, she doesn't even have to mention that the information came from us. She can just use that information as intelligence to say, okay, I see where some of these buses were purchased. Now I will go on my own and I will get the information from them, right? So that it falls within that chain, right? Yeah. It doesn't fall outside. So she can use the information for intelligence. And some people might say, well, you're saying this, no one people might know. No, because this is something that she can do. Not a problem. And she can even, you know what she can even do? But I don't think she's going to do it. She could even go to FID, you have the Egmont group conduct financial investigations over here to say, okay, how did the money come into the US? And for what purpose? When did it come? What account? And how did the things the buses got sent back? She can use the Egmont, she can use the FBI, can use us. We have the information already. Yes. Because what happened is that with Egmont, it's going to take a while. With the FBI, it's going to take a while. If you call me Auditor General, I promise you, if you call me whatever information you need, I can give you an answer within 2 days. I can say, okay, I have it. Here is the information. Or I can say to you, that information I'm not going to be able to get. So here's what but even when I tell you that I can't get it, I will tell you how you can get it. Because there's no information here that you can't, regarding this rural school bus program that you can't get. No information in America that you can't get. So Auditor General, keep us in mind because we're all on the same team fighting for the people of Jamaica, the people who have been ripped off. Because we know that this rural school bus program that they implemented last year, and by the way, there's another one that they implemented in 2017. We haven't heard anything about that one. I think it was 200 million. We haven't seen that even a bus. We haven't heard anything. I filed ATS, tell me about it, and I haven't gotten anything. I haven't gotten anything back. So There's one in 2017, and then there's this one from last year. And so I just hope that, you know, she can rescue us, because they're getting ready to approve what, $2 billion to let him go buy coaster buses, I heard, or new buses. Why didn't he do that last year? Why was there such a rush to go get these buses out of America? Buses that basically they were decommissioned. Why? Because also, Auditor General, we went and we looked at the requirements to decommission school buses in all of the states. And we have the requirements. We have the mileage, we have and it's not and. It's not 2015 and the mileage. It's 2015 or the mileage, whichever comes first. We have all that information, so you don't even have to stress yourself. Just give us a call. And by the way, I've written to you, Auditor General. You have my email. Send me back the thing so I can just send you the information. We want to get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah, we want to get to the bottom of this.
But Brother Ratty, I would presume that the matter is extremely serious, you know, because remember, Brother Ratty, that Mocha, along with the Auditor General, is investigating, you know. Mocha is there investigating.
Here's what I'm afraid of, though. Here's what I'm afraid of. You remember Rooms on the Beach?
Yes.
Where the Contractor General came out with a very scathing report about the activities of the Prime Minister and Minister Vaz. And what happened? Nothing.
Well, we have the People's National Party, the opposition of 28 members, and they seem to be very active as it relates to the control of the PAC and the PAAC. Hope that, right, they can trust, right, in terms of keeping the energy with this particular incident as it relates to the reverse.
I have one piece of advice for them, for the opposition members. I have one piece of advice, and that is this. Be prepared when you come to those meetings. It's not a lot of reading. Take up the Auditor General's report, and that's how many pages is that? That's give me 1 second. I tell you, it's not a lot. It's 72 pages, and a lot of it is, you know, you have the appendix. So it's not a lot of reading, but it's interesting reading. Please, I'm asking you, because I don't want to sit down here and ask a fool question like where Minister Cuthbert Flynn asked. She showed that she came woefully unprepared for this thing here. And this is not a surprise meeting. They knew we're going to meet, and this is the agenda. And then they show up and them don't prepare. So I'm just telling them that, please, but more here, I want them to continue to ask valid and pertinent questions. I don't want them to let it off. All right, sir.
All right. Yes, thank you for that, Ratty. Let me just give Melting Pot his 10 minutes to close us out. Melting Pot, your take.
Yeah, man, and I just want to endorse what Sir Rattigan said. Yeah? The People's National Party as an opposition now must pursue with high level, intelligence as it relates to doing the framework, get everything in order, and when you come to debate from a high point of view. Not like Cuthbert Flynn, who was not seemable privy to what was going on. So we know, as Sir Ratty said, 72 pages from the Auditor General. Get it, go through it, make sure you highlight the topical discussion point within the Auditor General report and come prepared. Because you see, the only way we can stop this, hula baloo of scamming the Jamaican taxpayers is to start to put the heat under the government. Don't ease up the pressure off of them opposition, because they will crumble under the pursuit of justice. Just like how you say, Vaz can't show him face from a day. You see, when you ramp up the pressure upon them, remember, them have to weigh under that constant pressure, That's why we don't do 9-day wonders around here. When we have something as important as the 1.4 billion school bus scandal, we have to keep coming out and beat it. Yeah, we have to straighten it out. We have to straighten it out with the hammer. Because this guy, Darrell Pumbaz, has committed several of these type of high-profile criminal activities over the years. And he has gotten away with it. But this is a bridge too far for him. because Ratty just rightly point out we know about the room scandal involving him and the Crime Minister, Andrew Holness. And we know what took place under sale value. And then people fly out to collect briefcase a US. Now, if that's not high-level criminality, I don't know what is criminality. And I'm telling Darrell Pumbad and the Crime Minister, the rooms event, can be brought back into light. Because remember, on the sweep that under the carpet, using the majority. You understand? And we have said them things that are still unsolved criminal investigation. That not solved yet. But we have all the evidence intact. Remember, Pumbad's in a problem when him go to Mexico collect the money, Because the US intelligence was on to him. But for somehow him have a godfather who, I don't know what various means of mechanism, but more than likely some plea bargain. And maybe some of Jamaica asset gone, with sovereignty gone, for them clear that amount of US. Because US know the type of money where them go for dirty money. Yeah, but this type of behavior is what the Jamaica Labour Party has been giving in the Jamaica electorate and taxpayers. Yeah, robbing. Yeah. And this is why I say Andrew Holness is a crime minister. Because it's not like him rob from somewhere like Jack the like Robin Hood and give to Jamaican people, Him is a Jack the Ripper. Him rip off the taxpayers them in the country all the time. Now I find that very, offensive towards the people where you represent. You can't steal from the people where you represent. Yeah? And so we are calling now unto, the bodies, the powers that being, like the Auditor General them, yeah? Step in and start ramp up the heat. Don't stop audit them. And anything on the find, put it out there. Make we deal with it and keep it alight. Make we keep the flame underneath it burning until it come back for mentioning. Yeah, we keep them alive, Because all the school bus we know specifically, so the 1.4 billion was taken in a hastily fashion to fund the general election. Yeah? Because Andrew Holness realized, so well then look, when Seaga go on with the PMP campaign rally, it looked daunting for him win the election. So him know him can use money and influence in all various aspects by giving people the money, by paying for the ink, come out of the electoral office and reach the hands of unscrupulous people, by also doing some things behind the scene, electronic device, malfunctioning them and then surge them and claim victory. I remember people, long time ago I hear said an individual with a Canadian account, they get a vast amount of money, go into the Canadian account, just in the election time. There's a woman who received a vast amount of money into a Canadian account. We're going to go back to that sometime coming. But we just have put it out there so that individual must know ourselves. Vast amount of money from the government was given to that individual into a Canadian account. I leave that for you next time. And we have to look on this guy, Gladstone Brown. Him have to be investigated. I won't say no more. But the whole landscape of Jamaica politics is in shambles. Jamaican people has allowed Andrew Holness to mastermind and craft his way through the political spectrum, yeah? Damaging all the ministry them with high criminality and theft and corruption. Utilizing his, empowerment when get. When, as a matter of fact, him take that. No Jamaican citizen wouldn't give him that empowerment. Him take it and a DISCAIMER thing where him create a little regime, yeah, dictatorship style of government and carefully introduce it into the society. Where you see stranglehold on the people democratic right of the country. Him use that against the Jamaican people. I mean, I tell the Jamaican people, you don't have to watch this guy carefully, you know. Yeah. When you notice him don't defend the rights of the country, because he's not a credible individual. Yet Andrew will never defend the rights of the people in the country. Just look for Melissa and Wagwan and Ground Zero. You see him leave the people them down there. Him don't even care about them. So this is what we have said to my Jamaican people. We now have to rise up to the idea and the reality of who this guy is. This guy is a Jacden time. He's an outlawed criminal, 5-star on him chest. Him a thief, and me can categorically say Andrew a thief. Him wife a thief, and many more top executive in our cabinet, them a thief. The whole lot of the cabinet member, them a thief. Them thief from him, the blind people, them a Jamaica call blind pay tax. You understand? And we have said this type of behavior must be brought to justice. We not gonna allow this guy for just walls where, you know, through various means, you know, and just go sit down in the sunset with the billions them him thief, you know. Him have to give it back. Him have to give it back. And him have to give it back with also the assurance that him go behind bars. A two-way thing we are deal with. Take back the asset where him steal and put him and him wife behind bars. Because a poor, suffering, impoverished third world country should not have undergo this type of, you know, tragic event by the leader. We are seeing so much thing that, you know, bring shame and disgrace upon the country. Yeah? Through this administration. We're seeing where they have destroyed the health sector and the justice sector as it relates to the Jamaica police force. And you see the country suffer.
Yeah, we have a minute to wrap up. So wrap it up in a minute.
Level 4 travel advisory was put on the card. And that come on the card as a result of Andrew Holness' inability to govern. Inability to be the man in charge of the country. But why saying this? He did it on a premeditated decision because they know what him calls this type of uproar in the society, you know. It can only benefit him through the corruption. Because when you have law broken and policemen who are commissioned by Andrew Holness, they won't fix the problem. And then you know what will happen now? Him benefit from that because he's a corrupted guru. And that's all I have to say tonight until we meet again, people. This is another edition of Mystic and Life.
That's it. That's it. Well, I want to say big thanks to the panelists, Brother Ratigan, Brother Melting Pot, as always. Love the support, love the energy. All right. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to have Wifey just close us out. Wifey.
Blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for your continued support. Really appreciate each and everyone. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you for those who joined us in the beginning and those who are still journeying with us. Remember to tune in to Mr. Ratigan's show tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and also on Saturday when he has his other shows, and tune into all the other platforms as well, who are spreading the message and campaigning for a better Jamaica. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Anyways, so have a wonderful and blessed night and a wonderful and productive rest of the week, and keep safe and safe travel on the gravel until we meet again. Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Bless up.
All right.
Blessings.
All right, Pat. Link you tomorrow, Pat.
Yeah, man. As usual. Link up tomorrow. Blessings.
All right, cool.
Bless up.
So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister and is a prime minister around the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want to right there that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.